Well, there is your start list for the men's final that kicks us off today. Damendorj of Mongolia will be looking to make history. He's one of 2 Mongolians here this weekend.
Walk is over, good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Mongolia and pushing Damendorj.
Damendorj finished 4th in qualifying. He scored 14.05. Well, he looked as though he was looking to the camera there as he was chalking up his hands and feet. Perhaps he was enjoying the attention. Composed, focused and ready. Wonderful tumbling pass to begin this floor routine. Second landing, not quite as tidy as his first. That is a shame. That will eat away at his execution score. He seems to have recovered well from that earlier landing in which he went out of bounds. Of course, that will elicit a deduction of 0.1 points for the 1 foot out of the arena. Well, a mixed performance from the Mongolian. He'll be disappointed with that landing on his 3rd tumbling pass. He started really well. 4th in qualification, but you suspect that he will be marked down on his execution there. That routine has a difficulty rating of 5.6, so 4.05 was his qualification score. Seems as though could be suggesting there that this is Dmitry Patinin of Kazakhstan also getting his feet all chalked up. He won't want a slip up like Damendorj just there in the opening floor routine. It was this 3rd tumbling pass where he just went out of bounds, didn't quite control the landing. It is an anxious wait for the judges to produce their scores. Well, that is disappointing indeed for Damendorj, who will be ruining.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing Kazakhstan,
He ended up on his backside and with both feet out of bounds. Disappointing for the Mongolian. Hasan Salimov. has won medals at World Challenge Cup level. Took gold on the vault at Antalya earlier this year. So a useful performer on a number of different apparatus. He finished 6th in qualification. This routine is worth a 5.8 in terms of difficulty, but you suspect that his execution scores will be high. Slight hop forward there, but otherwise his landings have been pretty decent. Generated some real power there, didn't he? But despite that, really kept the graceful elements as well of the routine, and I think that he will be pretty pleased with that performance. Salimov, of course, knows what it takes to win medals at this level. That was a solid performance, big step forward on landing at that point, but generally pretty consistent. Will he improve on the 13.750 that he achieved in qualification? Really maintained his form well throughout the air there. Chest high, the legs close together. Well, he is down on his qualification score.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing Hungary, Varna.
It's not been a particularly high scoring final so far. Okay, we've only had 2 gymnasts go, but perhaps we'll see the best scores coming a little later on. This is Botond Molnar of Hungary. Took silver in this event last year. Sixth best in qualification, 13.750, the same as Salimov. Stuck his landing on that one, didn't he? Beautiful form in the air. And a big smile to finish off. Certainly looks pleased with that one. I'm sure he's hopeful of getting to the top of the podium as things stand. Little nod of the head. He looks confident. Of course, he is only the 3rd gymnast to go, but certainly the one who's looked the most confident after making his way off the floor. Last year's silver medalist. How much would he love to repeat that feat? Get back on that podium. Well, this is worth a 5.8 in terms of difficulty. Which is the third most difficult routine of the floor finalists. Christopher Mazarak of Hungary with a 6.3. That's the most difficult. 13.533 is the score he needs to beat. Not quite, just falling short.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, representing Bulgaria,
disappointed with that. He's down on his qualification score and he came off the floor looking really pleased indeed. Dimitrov, the home hope. Finished 9th in qualification, so sneaks in as a reserve. Oh, the foot out of bounds will elicit a deduction on the execution. It's a very different style of gymnast to the 3 we've seen already. Generating some real power in these tumbles. The others have all been a bit lighter and more graceful. He was going for the big tumbling pass to end the routine, failed to control the landing, the chest just too far down. Loses balance and he hangs his head. Looks disappointed with the way he's finished that routine, and of course he did have that 1 foot out of bounds a little earlier on in one of the earlier tumbling passes. There we go, that's a deduction of 0.1 points. Not really getting the same height as some of the other gymnasts. He scored 13.7 in qualifying. It doesn't even look as though he's hanging around to see what he gets in this final. Well, that is the midway point of our first final of the day. 4 competitors have been and gone on the floor. We just await Dimitrov's score, but it is 13.533. That is the highest one so far. That is the one to beat at this midway stage. That was Molnar Botund. .766. That's disappointing for Dimitrov. That step out of bounds and then the loss of balance on his final landing, costing him in terms of his execution score, well down on the score he achieved in qualification. So at the midway stage, it is Molnar Botond who leads. Finland's Emil Voivolin gets us back underway. He finished qualification in 8th place. His routine is worth a 4.9 in terms of difficulty, so on the lower end of the difficulty scale, but if he can make up those points in execution, he could be in with a chance. It's all going so well up until that stumble backwards for the Finn. You suspected that he was really racking up those execution points because he was sticking his landings. Just let down at the very final moment there. Well, 12.9 is enough to get him into 3rd position as things stand, scoring well on the execution with an 8. And he has bettered his qualification score. My apologies, he hasn't bettered his qualification score. His qualification score is 13.7. It's not been the highest of scoring finals thus far. Dmitry Patinin must be sensing there is an opportunity here for him. .6 in qualifying, the 2nd best, behind Mazaros of Hungary. His routine is worth a 5.9 in terms of difficulty, the 2nd most difficult that we will see in this final. Absolutely stuck that landing, didn't he? A solid, confident, assured performance from Dmitry Patinin. One of 2 Kazakhstani athletes in this final. 13.533 is the score he needs to beat to get on top of the podium as things stand. I suspect that he's given himself a very decent chance of doing so. Really solid on landing. 14.033. He leaps to the top of the standings.
Representing Italy, Varna WCC.
Lorenzo Bonicelli is our penultimate athlete to go. He finished qualification in 5th place with a 13.9. This is a 5.6 on the difficulty level. Really lovely. Stuck the landing as well. Wonderful form in the air. Lorenzo Bonicelli with a double high five for the coach, and you suspect that that will be enough to get him onto the podium as things stand. Patterning at the minute is head and shoulders above the rest. But Bonicelli, the 5.6 difficulty, you suspect would have scored pretty well in his execution as well. A couple of slight steps forward, but otherwise it was another assured performance. Just sneaks onto the podium ahead of Botond. That is enough for 3rd place, but there is still one more gymnast to go. None of these athletes scoring as high as they did in qualification. Nicola Diaz, the final athlete, takes to the floor, the 3rd best in qualifying. 5.8 the difficulty in this routine. He got 14.1 in qualification, but it has been a much lower scoring final. Let's see if Diaz can buck that trend. That was certainly a crowd pleaser, wasn't it? The Frenchman looks confident as he exits the floor. Of course, with the withdrawal of Christopher Massarish, the highest in qualification, the final opens up somewhat. 13.66, Nicola Diaz. Leapfrogs Bonicelli of Italy. Gets himself onto that podium. Of course, France will be very much looking forward to the Olympic Games this summer, their home games, and they'll be sending an incredibly strong team. Well, it was a funny old floor final. Dmitry Patinin with a 14.033. The highest scorer, significantly down on his qualification. That concludes the first of our 5 finals for the day. Turn our attention next to the women with the vault competition, which is sure to be a very high quality one indeed. We have Tatiana Korent back to defend the vault title she won here last year. That is coming up very shortly indeed. So the final ranking for the vault competition, Dmitry Patinin with a 14.03 takes the gold ahead of Nicola Diaz, who takes the silver. Hassan Selimov makes up the podium with the bronze medal, so a pretty good start for Kazakhstan with 2 out of the 3 medals on offer so far. So confirmation once again of the final scores on the men's floor exercise. Kazakhstan with the gold and bronze, and France with the silver in between.
Third place and bronze medal representing Kazakhstan, Hassan Selimov.
Hassan Selimov collects bronze for the floor. He's got medals at this level before.
Second place and silver medal.
Most recently on the vault in Antalya earlier this year. Frenchman Nicola Diaz, big smile as he steps up to claim the silver.
Third place and bronze medal representing Kazakhstan, Dmitry Patinin.
But the only gymnast to have scored a 14, Dmitry Patinin, justly rewarded with the gold medal.
Third place awards governor Varna WCC. Second place awards Minister of Youth and Sport, Georgi Gushko. First place awards, Mayor of City Varna WCC.
Първо място награждава кмета на град Варна WCC.
Well, big smiles for the cameras. Congratulations to